Hello everyone, how are you today? I hope you're well. My name is Harry and this is Learn English with British Harry. So, why should you start a YouTube channel? It's an interesting question. I think a lot of people may have thought of the idea, but really haven't acted on creating that channel. I think in today's day and age, with the prevalence of AI, it's even more important to be authentic. And I can give you an example. For example, there are so many Bigfoot videos and Starship Trooper videos. And even I was curious and I watched a few of these. And because I watched one, my feed was flooded with lots of these type of videos. And at first I thought, this looks quite interesting. It's quite amusing. It's quite funny because it's something new. You don't get to see Bigfoot camping every day. It's not a usual occurrence. So it was quite interesting. However, now when I see the same videos, I'm not really interested in it anymore. And I would just scroll past it. And this is because it's a fad. Now, a fad, F-A-D, is something that is short-lived. So it may grip people's attention. When I say grip people's attention, people are so excited about this because it's something new and interesting. But then it doesn't last. The interest wanes off. The interest fades out. And I remember when I first started watching YouTube back in the day, and it was just ordinary people talking, sharing their experiences. And then it kind of morphed into something where you had a lot of jump cuts and you had to grip people's attention within the first 5 seconds. And you had to compete to get people's attention. And fair enough, because in today's society, a lot of people's attention spans are very short and time is very valuable. So if you only have a short amount of time for your leisure time or to relax, then you want that time to be filled with something interesting, something fun. But it could also be something informative, something educational. And I think watching videos like these can help you to train your attention span because you have to listen to what I'm talking about and try to think about your answers. So being genuine, I think, is very important because soon we're going to have so much of AI, and I think some people may not even care if it's AI or if it's a real human being, but being able to share your imperfections, I think, is very important because when you create a YouTube channel, you put yourself out there. You're open to scrutiny. So scrutiny is when people can pick on something and say, I don't like the way you look or what you're talking about. So you're open to criticism. And it may not even be from other people. It could be self-criticism. You could be worried about the way you look, the way you sound. Like today, I have a bit of a cold and it's affected my voice. But I wanted to make this video regardless because it's really important to share your ideas. And that's the beauty of YouTube, is being able to build a community of like-minded people, and you get to be genuine, because I think if you're not genuine, it's going to take a strain on you, and I think it's going to be very stressful to try and keep up appearances. So being genuine, putting yourself out there, can only build your confidence, because you start to develop a thick skin. So a thick skin, this means that you just go for it, because you can see starting a YouTube in one of two ways. it could be a hobby, it could be a passion that you want to talk about and share with other people, or it could be some kind of business where you are advertising your services, and it could be a mixture of both. So for example, with this channel, Learn English with British Harry, I'm a British English teacher, and it's only natural for me to teach English. So at first, it was a way for my students to watch the videos either before the lesson or after the lesson. And over time, it's made me realize that I can reach a lot of people around the world. And it would be a dream to grow this channel and be able to have a successful business from this channel. So I think that there are so many opportunities, and when you create the channel, if I go back to talking about putting yourself out there, you can build your confidence, you can build your public speaking skills, because the more that you actually speak out loud, it helps you to formulate your ideas. So when I say formulate, I mean to create your ideas. And you can start to get over that fear of speaking, of making mistakes. And for example, when I'm teaching a student, they may have been very successful in their career. They're very successful in climbing the career ladder. They have a family, they have hobbies that they're very successful in. But when it came to speaking English, they felt very nervous about speaking English. Now, it's my job to build their confidence up. So making those mistakes in a safe, comfortable environment is really important, because when you make those mistakes, you realize that they're not really mistakes. They are just signposts along your path to show you how to do something differently. So I really encourage you to make mistakes. So when you're speaking, try that difficult vocabulary word, try that pronunciation, even if it comes out wrong, because you will learn so much more than just avoiding using that word. So it can build up your skills. Now, you can also share your passion, your hobby, your knowledge. So if you're talking about things that you love, and there are so many niches on YouTube. So a niche is a specific category. So you may have something like cooking, and a niche would be baking or making desserts or making the perfect steak, for example. So you have different niches within a big category. So you can always find something that you are interested in. And I think developing your niche and talking about your niche, it can be like a way to express yourself and connect with other people that have that same interest. Because maybe in the real world, your friends and family don't share your passion or your interest. So this way you can connect with other people. For example, I used to really like watching a show called Buffy the Vampire Slayer. And when I was watching it many, many years ago, I thought it was just an amazing show because it was really funny. You saw the characters develop. And there are some really good YouTube channels where people of a similar age to myself would break down the episodes and talk about the episodes. And I would think, wow, I didn't really catch that the first time I saw the episode. So you can get a sense of fulfillment by sharing your passion. You can also start to build a personal or professional brand. So maybe you are in business, maybe an entrepreneur, and you want to start to build your brand. And this can be an interesting way because you start to look at marketing and you start to analyze things in a different way. And you can see how people have created their thumbnails, how they are presenting themselves in the videos. Are they coming across as being your friend, or are they coming across as being very professional? And there's different markets for this. And it's interesting to be able to build a certain brand for your business. You also have the potential to earn extra money. And I think in today's society where everything is so expensive, you have the cost of living crisis, that being able to earn extra money through sharing your interests and passion, I think is amazing, really, that you're able to do this and build a business. So I think it's quite interesting. Also being able to document your journey. I think when I look at some of my videos, my earlier videos, and I see the progression over time, I think it's quite fascinating to see. And I'm quite proud of that journey and putting in the hard work. But I can see that there's been a transition over time of trying to improve the videos that I'm making. So for example, I started out with this microphone here and then transitioned to this microphone. So that's another thing. You can go down this rabbit hole and you can start to think about things that you want to improve, like lighting or the camera or the microphone or the editing software. So the list is endless, and you start to build up so many useful skills that you can translate to other areas of your life if it's being patient when it comes to editing. I think that's something that I'm naturally a patient person, but if the video hasn't rendered properly and I've missed a section out and I have to go back and redo it, this can really test your patience. So it does give you a lot of skills. And I think it's something worthwhile thinking about doing, even if you're documenting your life. Because, for example, in 10 or 20 years, you can look back and you can look back on these videos that you've made, even if you're sharing, traveling, and you can see where it goes. And I think having this mindset of just trying it and seeing what happens is a healthy attitude to develop, because as adults, especially when you're learning English, like I said before, you can feel very self-conscious. And I've had this with a lot of my students, and I've helped them to overcome this by encouraging them to make mistakes and realizing that, I'm just going to go for it anyway, and I'm just going to see what happens. Because sometimes we can plan too far ahead and we can overanalyze things. Now, I have been guilty of doing that myself, of overanalyzing things. For example, with this video, I was thinking about waiting until my voice got better, but I thought, no, bite the bullet, just make the video. It's a topic that's on my mind, so just go for it, because life is going to pass whether you do something or not. And I think by just going for it, doing it, you feel better within yourself and you will learn things along the way. So there's quite a few positive things to think about when you are creating a YouTube channel. I know it can be quite intimidating at first. They can feel like there are so many moving parts. You can have self-doubt. But remember, self-doubt is only normal. It's human to have self-doubt, but try to think about what your niche would be, what you can talk about, and that can give you some confidence. So, for example, I've taught thousands of students from around the world, and I feel comfortable talking to people, so it comes to me quite naturally. And there may be something else that comes naturally to you. It would be interesting to hear from you. If you had to create a channel, what would it be about? Would it be about a sports team, cooking, travel? Think about what you like to watch, and that can give you some ideas of what channel to create, because you never know where it could lead. Now, a downside to this could also be that AI could be using these videos to improve itself. But I think until that happens, I think it's quite a creative way and a creative outlet. You don't have to think you have to be the next Mr. Beast, for example. And Mr. Beast is an interesting example because if you look at his thumbnails, they are so well made. If you look at his videos, you can see that there's so much money that has been pumped into creating these videos that it's impossible to compete with people. For example, he has 410 million subscribers. That's amazing. But then you have to think about his demographic. Who is his demographic? Now, demographic means the group of people that he is targeting. So it's my understanding that he is targeting mostly kids, teenagers. I don't really think that middle-aged people would be watching his stuff, but I may be wrong. And a lot of his videos, for example, the popular videos, they look at trends that are happening at the moment. And a lot of the videos involve winning money, like winning $500,000, which is an incredibly huge number. It's a life-changing number. So it's almost like transitioned YouTube from the everyday person talking to now being this spectacular event that no one else can compete with. But it is interesting when you see the creation of these videos and you look at the thumbnails and you look at how they try to entice you to watch this video, and they are bombarding you with sound and music within the first 5 seconds to get you to watch this video from beginning to end. And have you heard of Mr. Beast? What do you think about the channel? I have to admit, I have watched a few of his videos here and there, one in particular, which was the Squid Game. And I didn't watch all of it, but it was because Squid Game was trending at that moment. And you can get swept along with the hype. So hype is when there's a lot of attention and publicity about these videos. So being able to win $500,000 and it's connected to a TV show which is very popular, it can be quite entertaining. But overall, I think he's trying to create a business for himself. So, that's his own prerogative. And he has had a lot of videos where he is helping other people, helping blind people, helping deaf people. So it is an interesting one. It's just not my cup of tea, but each to their own. But it'll be interesting to know what you think about, and what channels do you watch that you think, okay, this is good. So think about the category there. So overall, to summarize, starting a YouTube channel is something which I think is accessible to anyone at any age. I'm 43, and you don't have to be in your 20s to be creating YouTube channels, because the internet is for everyone, even if you are 80 or 90, because it's all about your unique experience and what do you have that you can talk about. For example, someone in their 40s has more life experience. They've got a family. They understand the difficulties of trying to learn English when you have a family, when you have a full-time job and other personal commitments. So if you've already gone through that, then you can connect with other people. And you can also connect with people that are growing up because you were that age before. So it is interesting. And it's not just about your appearance and how you look and how you sound. I think it's also about the type of energy that you bring and what you are actually talking about. So it'll be interesting to hear about your opinion of this. Also remember to visit my website, britishharry.com. You'll find it very useful. Also, be sure to check out my shop. I have a few products available for you at the moment. So I have 200 English phrasal verbs workbook. This took a lot of time and effort, but I'm very proud of it. It has 200 everyday phrasal verbs and a bonus 1-hour video lesson to help with your pronunciation. There's also a How to Teach English Online, a beginner's guide. If you've ever thought about teaching English online, this will teach you step by step with how to get started. So have a look at those. I really appreciate it. And yeah, thank you so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Watch this video next to keep improving your English fluency. Thank you so much, and I will see you in the next video. Thank you, and bye-bye.